even here. It's the fear so unclear, man, emotion going nowhere. In our home, stuck in the face, spreading word from populace. Yellow journal, set the pace, trail the rage. Manifestations of a sort of slow, insidious opera point. Simple solution, never confused, score to gun, kill like a crazy world of weary thoughts. So receive me, hand it up, lock me up, lock me up. Rock and assimilate. Hot to annihilate. Rot and assimilate. So hard to annihilate. Deviation, cunning best for long resistance and assumptions. He who speaks isn't weak, will traverse so to speak. Running blade, the truth evades immunity, avoid decay. In the trench of pestilence, the Bible screams, announce your fate. Mutterings of death to bring the brigade and you will think. Degradation of an age, venereal, its all sensation. Protect design, the moral planet, fallible as propaganda, completely black. We're no steps back. Hot to assimilate. Will rot or annihilate. So hard to assimilate. Will rot or annihilate. Irony profusely stains in a finger of the brain. Accusations clanking chains, growing pain. Muttering their death to bring the suffocate, a newborn thing, degradation of an age, venereal, its all sensation, protect design, the moral planet, fallible as propaganda, completely black, with no steps back. Agony, profuse stains in our thinking of the brain. Accusations, clanging chains, experiments with rooms and pain. All prefer, no one plays the terror in animal screams. It cages our future, the answer's inside. Rot and assimilate. So hard to annihilate. Rot and assimilate. So hard to assimilate. Hopefully I'm not too loud or anything, because, you know, I had a few sort of strange audio difficulties earlier, and I'm not entirely sure what's going off there, but there you go. Right, yes, anyway, I'm your host, Derek Anthony Williams, aka The Futurist, and we'll have various bits of music and interviews coming up in the next 2 hours. We'll have Death Ingloria in around 15 minutes, and Death Ingloria, you will get a link very soon, I assure you, as we do that just before the interview, because I don't have paid Zoom, so I can't afford that sort of thing, because it costs a lot of money, you know. And after we've had that, we'll have a bit of music of Death Ingloria beforehand, and then we'll have a bit of Death Ingloria afterwards, and a few other bits and pieces as well. Probably another bit of Gothzilla as well, obviously. Right, so I think being as we kind of got a bit of a metal-y vibe going off with, say, Death Ingloria, I think we should have probably some music that is kind of appropriate to that. And as I say, I'm not entirely sure why I'm having to really crank up the volume on my input tonight, so you're going to hear a bit of mouse clicking, I'm afraid, so just have to put up with that. Anyway, so I don't think I've played on the show in video form before. When I've done audio only, I've played a bit of this, but here's a bit of Coburg with Requiem.
Sorrow, we live in sin. These games we never win. Sweet
So that was Coburg, who you may have known also from being part of Naked Lunch at points in the past. Yes, that was very good. Writes and performs absolutely everything herself, which is pretty damn impressive, I think. Anyway, so I think we'll get on and play a bit of Death Ingloria for you. So probably a little bit earlier than we would anticipate going to Death Ingloria, but in around 3 minutes or so we'll hopefully be joined by them. So let's have their video battle stations, kind of an animated thing. So let's get that on for you.
And defenseless against your bottom tone, no phrase. I can feel this barricade coming down on me again. Do I surrender my time, surrender my life for something you don't see? Do I surrender my heart, surrender my home for a cause you don't even stone. Society's corrupt from the bottom to the top. There's all-consuming need that don't breathe. Look what we've got. Do I surrender my time, surrender my life for something you don't see? Do I surrender my heart, surrender my home for a cause you don't even believe? And as we man this battle station, I hope you know, if it was up to me, you'd never make it home. And as we man this battle station, I hope you know, if it was up to me, I'd drop you like a stone. If it was up to me, you'd never make it home. But it's not up to me. No, it's not up to me. No, it's not up to me. I'm just scared.
Right then, that was Death Ingloria with battle stations. Cunningly featuring some of my VLC playlists just then. Exciting. Anyway, you should now see on screen Death Ingloria joining me. And as much as you're trying to do the sort of the sign there, only half of it's fitting on screen, I'm afraid, due to your filling. You're in a so if you concentrate any hand signals to sort of just below your chin, you'll be fine. Anyways, there you go, sorted now. Excellent. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining me. So Death Ingloria, then. That's all that about.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm assuming. Oh yeah, you can hear me great.
Yes. I can hear
So
you.
it's a one human project. It's me and an AI The AI is very nice. It's not stealing any. I would like to say the AI is not stealing jobs from people, but literally it's the entire band.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to start a rock band for years, and I've just given up, and I've gone and done it on my own. So that's the crack. So I do everything myself, and then I play but alone on stage. I do have a session band that comes out with me sometimes, but not on the tour that we're doing at the moment.
So
And
why?
I write sci-fi stories about the end of humanity, and I create my albums have a comic book that goes along with each album, and I animate those comic books into music videos. And then when I play live, you get the story of the comic book on stage. So it's like part rock opera, part rock show, part theater production, I guess.
Yeah, and I've been very, very, very fascinated by this whole sort of multimedia, high concept stuff you've got going off with Death Ingloria. What is it that sort of made you sort of come up with this whole idea? Were you just like bored of just the whole standard a band doing music kind of thing? Is it just like you got bored of that kind of thing and wanted to create some kind of immersive thing with it all?
No, I just couldn't find any friends. I don't have any friends. That's the be all and end all. I couldn't get any musicians who were A, good enough, or B, thought I was good enough, or C, just, wanted to put as much effort into it as I did. So I ended up alone in the world.
Yeah,
So
but the whole concept thing behind it of having like these whole storylines and that sort of thing, I find that quite fascinating. It's a bit of a departure from just the band doing music kind of thing. Was there a concept behind that rather than just you being solo, just in terms of like the whole aspect of its a whole entity of the comics, the videos, and the stories and everything like that?
So it all comes from the knowledge I was going to do it alone. So I knew I was going to be on stage alone, so I needed something to be on stage with me. And then I thought, what about some kind of animation? Some kind of video, some kind of video story that would make up for not having a band. And then I thought comic books, because that would be cheaper than live. Like animation would be cheaper than live action, which it turns out isn't necessary.
No,
it's not.
no.
Not
All right,
necessarily.
fair enough then.
Not necessarily. And then animations, and then I thought comics. I could animate comics. I could do comics. We could do comics. Because I have to admit that I am a 2000 AD brat. Now, when I say that, I mean my mum used to write for 2000 AD. She was the first woman to ever write for 2000 Ad.
Now there's
only been
a great
two, by the
claim.
way.
Only two.
There's only ever been two, and one of them is quite a young girl that writes for them now. But my mum was the first.
That
which
seems
is shocking.
disgraceful, really. I mean, surely there's other women that want to write for 2000 AD. It seems just that sort of blown my mind that only two women in the history of this comic have been writing for it.
Yeah. So when my mum was a writer for 2000 AD, I used to go to all the Comic-Con panels with her and like hide under the table because I was too young to know what was going on. So I've been brought up around comic books and the whole genres, I guess. So it was quite an easy step out of all the things to jump into to start the band. Comics was kind of the easiest step. So my mum helps edit the stories into comic form for the illustrator to do. So yeah. So that's why we've got a sci-fi comic, because I was brought up in sci-fi comics.
I mean,
So
I remember sort of in my youth in the early 80s accidentally sort of stumbling across a 2000 AD comic in a newsagent's and being a little disturbed by this sort of gigantic creature with very large lettering saying "I want fresh flesh." So that's quite an interesting connection we can share. But yeah, it's I'm sort of very taboo, not supposed to be reading that sort of thing, so it's felt a bit weird. So, what were the inspirations for the comics? Other than obviously the 2000 AD, but is there anything else, like maybe do films sort of influence it at all? interests you in that particular? I mean, you're sort of off, like, I know you mentioned like humanity's inevitable end and that sort of thing.
Well, I knew I wasn't going to write love songs. I'm not going to write love songs. I'm not going to write about, like being emotionally trapped in an emotional glass cage of emotion or whatever it is people write songs about. So all of mine are more like humanity's a massive dumpster fire. Let's write about that. So at the end of every album and every comic, humanity dies out completely. So not one human is left alive. So I've always been interested in how our foolishness will wipe us out as a species. That's kind of an interesting concept to me.
Do you think it definitely
aliens.
will? Yeah.
Oh, it's bound to. Well, if we get off... Right, this is a good subject, actually. If we manage to get off planet, then there's no reason why we should die out as a species. If we manage to populate other planets outside of our solar system, then in theory, there's less risk there. But if we can't get off planet and we can't get out of the solar system, then yeah, it's pretty inevitable that we'll wipe ourselves out at some point.
I don't know. I think that's an even less likely option than us actually managing to convince everyone in the world to join together and stop climate change. So I guess we are screwed then. But
yeah.
So it's lovely to know that you always enjoy a good, happy ending to your stories. So, are there any 2000 AD comics in particular that have informed your writing style other than your mum's?
Not mine at all, because 2000 AD was something my mum did. I really rebelled against it all when I was a kid, and only really came back to being a sci-fi writer
Yeah.
very late in life, when I decided that, like around 2015 was when I seriously took it on. So no, but the film Aliens, like sci-fi films and sci-fi anime, all of that kind of stuff, has always been big influence. Oh, pardon me. So the Aliens franchise, specifically Aliens, the second film,
Yes.
I saw that film when it was on ITV. Remember back when? Like, you all remember this, right?
I remember analog TV.
So a film would come out into the cinema, right?
Yeah.
And it would be in cinema for however long. And then about 2 years after that, you'd get it on TV. There was a definite
I think
sequence.
it was usually a bit longer than that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so the year they showed Aliens on terrestrial TV, which was probably like 89, I want to say.
Yeah.
So, I was probably like 8 years old, and my parents let me stay up to watch it. And I watched that film on terrestrial TV, and then I watched it every single Saturday. I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and watched that film every Saturday until probably I was 12, or, old enough not to be getting up at that time in the morning. But for years, when I was a kid, I watched that. And Vasquez was probably my first celebrity crush, I suppose.
Have you ever been mistaken for a man?
I know, right?
No, have you?
Have you? So I wanted everything about her. I just loved,
Vasquez is amazing.
about it.
Yes.
So so that was my first hero. Was her. So I hated Ripley. I thought she was really wet. I really didn't like Ripley as a hero at all.
fine. I mean, each character has their own purpose. I mean, we've got the great redemption arc of Gorman and that sort of thing. He always was an asshole, but Aliens, I've watched that film many, many times myself. Obviously, it's an essential for anyone into the sort of sci-fi genre and sort of that futuristic aspect and dark futures and so forth and that. Do you think you could ever write anything with a sort of more optimistic Star Trek future? Do you think? No, you
God,
could,
no.
it's always...
I always thought Star Trek was such a, that's never going to happen. Babylon 5.
Babylon 5, yeah. I love Babylon 5.
In Babylon 5, if they have some greenery, if they have like a garden they can grow stuff in, someone has snuck like coffee in and is growing it in the garden when it shouldn't be. And they all have to pay rent, and it's all a nightmare. Yeah. And it's kind of like that's really what humanity would be more like. I think.
Yeah. I think Babylon 5 definitely was the more sort of real humans in space kind of drama for sure, as we got things like people waking up with the taste of carpet in their mouth, for example. So
Have you seen The Expanse?
uh,
Have you watched
I
The Expanse?
I have tried The Expanse, but I've struggled with that it just sort of the pacing of it I find a little bit too slow.
Okay, so that is really. I think that's a really good series. 'Cause
Most
it
people
gets
love
so
it.
much right. Yeah, it gets a lot of science right, and it also just gets humanity's terribleness gets right as well. I think.
I may have to give it another go, as some people I do very much respect have said it is incredibly good. So I just found it interminably dull for the first few episodes I tried watching. So there you go. Yeah, so we should probably talk about what influences you musically as well, rather than just having a good chat about sci-fi, which I love to do. But so you tend to go for the more metal kind of sound. So what attracts you to that kind of sound in music then?
I think everybody has their story, like what got you into music, what got you into alternative music. It might be your dad's records, it might be, I don't know. But for me, it was going to metal clubs from the age of like 14. So like we had one club, we had like one bar in our hometown where they played metal on a Friday night, and then there was one nightclub in Belfast called The Venue, and they had Friday and Saturday nights. And I had my 18th birthday in there like 3-4 years in a row. Every year, oh yeah, I'm 18 this year, woo! And so my entire musical knowledge comes from the dance floors, metal dance floors. So I'm really into big choruses, stuff that you can sing along with, stuff you can dance to. I'm a new metal kid, really, because that's the era I was, coming 18 in.
Yeah.
It was like the 90s and early noughties. So yeah, just metal dance floors. So I knew all these songs, but I didn't know who sung them, and I didn't know what the names of the songs were. I didn't own any albums, really. I just got like hand-me-down records or like CDs off the front of magazines or whatever. I didn't really buy a lot of music, but I just consumed loads and loads off metal club dance floors, and then going to shows from those bands. Like someone would go, "Oh, this band's in town, and this is the song that you know," and I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." But back then, like barely anyone came to Belfast. We were really a war zone, I guess. So if a band did come, it didn't matter who it was, everyone went to it. As soon as you were old enough to get in a bar, if any band came to town that was kind of remotely in your genre, you went. So yeah, there wasn't that much to see basically at the time.
No.
So a lot of it was just metal club dance floors. Yeah, well that's it.
Yeah.
And so now I like songs that are very like I'm trying to get onto metal club dance floors. I haven't hit it yet because they're not heavy enough, or I feel like I'm just in like the proof of concept section. In these first, I've got 2 albums out. Well, I've got 3 albums out technically, because one of them's an acoustic album. But I feel like I'm still in like the concept stage, proof of concept, and the next album will be far darker and longer and full graphic novel and all of that.
Metal isn't really a genre that I'm interested in, so to speak. But I can appreciate what you're doing with it, as far as I can recognise the quality of your work. And what's the challenges then in doing that and those big expansive sounds that you get, whilst just being a solo artist?
So I have a very good mix and master engineer, and I also have a good producer. So that's really key. So if you don't have a band, you can pay people to fic your band for you, basically. So like the thing about having a band, right, is having multiple people input onto a project. So that makes the sum of the parts better. That synergy is what makes great bands, right? So if you don't have those people, then spend the money on a producer or a mix engineer, because those people add those creative elements that you're missing into the mix. So the producer on the second album, So I recorded and produced the first album myself, but I had a guy called Ackle from the band Tesseract, who are a huge djent band. They did the drums for me. And then I have a mix and master engineer in America who is the producer between The Buried and Me, which are quite a large djent band, that kind of proggy metal band.
Do you want to explain for viewers what a djent band is? I'm aware of them myself, but just in case anyone's watching who isn't familiar with that style, perhaps a good idea to tell them.
I mean, I'm not an advocate of this genre, so it's hard. But I guess you could call it mathematical metal. That's very clean. It's very clinical. It's got very heavy guitars. It's generally played on an 8-string. And it has like very tight, like rumbling guitar, but also at the same time very like piercing accents. It's got a very just odd tone to it, which is quite bassy and tinny at the same time. It's very So bands like Meshuggah is probably the biggest, is the leader of this genre. And then Tesseract are kind of the next generation up after that. I mean, it's a quite fashionable genre. You can hear it in all modern metal in one way or another right now. It's quite a fashionable style of metal. Just Google it. I mean,
I know, but it's nice to hear it from the guest, though.
What does goth? I mean, what is goth music? Really, like, how do you describe that? Just Google it and go listen to it.
I think goth is pretty much everything, and of course it is the eternal question that must never get asked. With the recording of the album, are the drums live drums, or are they programmed?
No, they are Oh, hold on. On the first album, they are programmed. On the second album, they were played live, but they've been mixed and mastered to sound as close to the first album as possible, so they've been made to sound more programmed on the second album. The reason for this is those two albums are half an hour each, so they can be played as separate sets, or they can be put together for one long set. And the animations can be put together for a longer set, so they were purposely made to go together, so stuff sounds the same.
And I do think it is really rather excellent what you've got together there in that form of having these concept stories with it. And I noticed you played, like, say, some anime conferences and that sort of thing. You think developing that side more, playing more anime cons and that sort of thing might be an ideal sort of audience for you, rather than just the standard gig kind of thing?
The answer to that is no. So
right, that's that then.
No, but there's many levels to, you'll know this, you're a touring musician yourself, right? So I can play band shows all day long, right, in music venues, and I will never really get a fee because I don't bring massive audiences that would cover the cost of the venue at the moment. I'm a little tiny artist, right? So nobody's going to pay me a fee. Right? Yeah, you know it. We all do it, right? But we do go and do it. You might get a really good show. You might get 50 quid. You might make like 100 quid on merch if you're super lucky. You might get one of those gigs, but you have to pay your dues. The Comic Cons, essentially at the moment, they're the things keeping me adrift at the moment. They pay a fee, you get an audience who will either really like you or they really won't, and they might buy some merch, they might not, but you will be guaranteed a fee and they'll take you on tour. So I'm on tour now really until, well, I'm just going to play tons. So most of my dates that are on my website, DeathIngloria.com, are actually Comic-Con shows. So they're all ages. I play in the afternoon, and they're booking me where band venues aren't. However, as soon as the music venues see that I've got tour dates in their town and I come through their town regularly, then they start booking me as well, and my fees can go up. I can get a little bit of petrol money out of the music venues. So I do, at the moment, I'm playing mostly Comic-Cons, but towards the end of the year, that becomes more music venues. So for me, I can play both, but you rarely find a band that can play both. They either play one or the other. Like, they either come up through Comic Cons and then they can't do music venue shows, or they come up in music venues and can't do cons. So I was a roadie for years before I started this band. So I've done, I'm event manager, stage manager, backline tech, tour manager. I used to work for loads of people, watching them create their dreams, and now I've just given up doing any of that, and now I do my own. So I'm coming at it from a very technical point of view. So I can basically walk into any environment and be quite comfortable, whether that's, play in a conference room with no PA. I've got the gear to pull that off,
Yeah.
And we don't use amps. Like, even if I have the support, if I have my band, we don't use amps. So, not having a drum kit is a great thing for a Comic-Con. If you are out there and you're thinking about doing cons, not having a drum kit is essential, because they hate drum kits. Man,
I do too, so that's definitely a good thing. And drum kits are big, they get in the way, they're really noisy. We don't want drum kits, they're just a pain.
But with Comic Cons, you have to be family friendly. You cannot curse. Oh God, you cannot even have anything remotely sexual in anything. They're really strict. You cannot do anything that's not, PG, total PG, not even PG-13.
I wonder if they'd allow boogieing. Interesting. What was I was going to ask you something. I'm interested in your track like Cage of Lament, which seemed very, very different from the rest of... I know what else I was going to ask now. I'll try and remember that in a moment. But you've got mostly that sort of big, heavy, raw guitars, expansive sound, but then you've got that very quiet, intimate Cage of Lament. I'd love to know a bit more about that.
So that is the very first Death Ingloria song, and the reason it's there is because I was hosting Club Antichrist, which is Europe's largest goth fetish night.
I know,
which happens once a quarter. Which I'm now the event manager for. But back then I was the host, and I needed a song that I could sing, and as part of the intro to Club Antichrist. And I was also at the time, building up the production for Death Ingloria. So a friend of mine has this amazing album, the name of which I cannot remember, but his name is Ben Edwards, and he does this amazing piano album, and it's so goth, and like the piano, it's just like piano only, but it's very goth and atmospheric. And he had that album, and I was using that as a backing track to sing the intros for Club Antichrist. And then I was like, I've got this acoustic song and I really would like this piano part. Can we do a collaboration, and can I release that as the first single for Death Ingloria? Because if there's anyone who's about to release music for the first time, and you'll know this yourself, if you're releasing a single or an album, the thing you actually want to release shouldn't be your first release. You should get your name, you should get everything set up. You should have the Spotify set up. You should have the YouTube set up. You should have all these socials all set up before you release your actual first release. Yeah. So The Cage of Lament was literally that single. It was just to get the pipelines of distribution open, so that when I went to release my actual first album, it would be there. So it's great. The thing is, it turned out into this amazing song.
It is a brilliant song. I really like it.
I would really like it to be used on, like, we put it out for licensing and whatnot. But I don't perform it live. Do I? I perform it live at the fan parties, which I do once a year.
Can't you perform it in Wakefield just for me? Because I really like that one. I'm not so much into the metal kind of sound, but I really liked that one, so I insist you perform that one just for my benefit,
Well, do you know what? It depends how long I've got to play. If it's a 30-minute set, then no. If it's a 45-minute set that I get, then yeah, I could do that.
I think I'll be doing about 30 minutes-ish, so you should have enough room for a 45-minute set.
Well, my sets are timed, so generally my stage sets are 26 minutes and 35 seconds, just because that's funny. And I have a little time. I've got 4 minutes to mess about and find out, basically. So all my sets are like 26 minutes. Hard 26 minutes. Just do it.
I was also going to ask about the sort of importance that maybe you feel in like doing the live streams that you do. So what are you doing in your live stream stuff that you do also on Thursdays, quite inconveniently? Thank you very much. So, I've adjusted my schedule for you. That's how kind.
Oh, bless you. Bless you. Thank you, sir. What do I do in my live streams? So on the Thursday nights, we just chat. We talk about a little. So I've asked my audience. Sorry, let me start again. I have a group on Facebook called Fans of Death Ingloria, and we write stories together. And I ask them what they want on the live streams, and they want three things. They want music business or music production or something to do with music. They want something to do with mental health and something to do with science or space. So we investigate things like crazy things, science things like, is the space station turning green, was one of the ones we did recently, and we just like go on the internet and find out if it's bollocks or not. Sorry, maybe I can't curse, don't know.
You're fine. I'm sure everyone can take it.
So yeah, we do a bit of chatting. So I've experimented quite a lot. You know, I had a chat show at one point over lockdown. I had Sci-Fi Hi-Fi where we interviewed musicians exactly as you're doing now.
Yeah.
It wasn't working out for us, so we stopped that. But I do, I have, so the Thursday nights is just chatting, but in March we're going to do some live stream actual shows. So there'll be, like, one will be my own original stuff, and I think I'm going to do like a 90s naughty sing-along night where we're just going to like put it on late and karaoke. You know, just basically put the words on the screen and just party and karaoke and just be stupid.
And I assume that's on Twitch at Death_Ingloria then.
It is, yes, yes. But I also live stream to YouTube and Facebook at the same time.
It's simulcast, is it? Like restream?
Yeah. But if I do anything with covers, that has to be on Twitch only, and it doesn't stay up. Oh, actually, well, it's YouTube and Twitch, and it doesn't stay up on Twitch.
I mean, I sometimes, I got into trouble for playing a copyrighted song on YouTube as a live stream. They really, really don't like that. They don't mind it going on after the fact, but you're not allowed to live stream it for some reason. Right, anyway, you'll undoubtedly be wanting to go and get ready for all that sort of things. We've only got about 15 minutes until you're due to go live yourself. So thanks for joining me, and it's been lovely to have a chat and find out a little bit more about things that are going off with you. So obviously we'll see each other in Wakefield in just over a week's time at the Vortex.
That's going to be fun, isn't it?
Yeah, that'll be interesting indeed. It doesn't get more exciting than playing Wakefield, I hear.
I don't think I've been to Wakefield before. I've been to a lot of places, but I've not been to Wakefield.
It's all right.
I've been told the Vortex is an amazing venue.
Yeah, I have never been there, but I've been to... I played Henry Boone's twice in Wakefield, and I played Warehouse 23 supporting Toyah in Wakefield, and that was an interesting experience.
How was that?
Well, I had a rather intriguing wardrobe malfunction that night as the crotch of my catsuit split in front of the... and I wasn't wearing underwear that night, so that was an intriguing, memorable evening. I don't think there'll be anything of that sort going off at the Vortex, though. Much more robust catsuits and things these days, but... Anyway, so yes, I'll put links up and so forth to all your socials and that kind of thing, and I'll play some more of your music now. So yeah, thank you for joining me. It's been lovely to have a chat, and obviously all the best with future endeavours. It's lovely to see someone doing something so sort of creative and different with the whole thing, something a bit more kind of high concept, I think. So I keep saying anyway.
It's true. It's very high concept. It's very high concept.
Right, well, thank you very much, and enjoy your live stream in about 15 minutes, and I'll see you in just over a week.
Bye!
Right then, let's have a bit of Death Ingloria music. Again now, so we'll have something from one of the live streams, I think. Let's Death Ingloria Addiction live stream 30th of January 2021 by the looks of it. So this will be a little bit sort of whatever, because it's a live stream, you know.
And I didn't. I wrote the song instead, and it's about, for me, it's about alcohol addiction of some sort or whatever. But it could be about anything, really. And really, now that we're all on lockdown, it has a secondary meaning to me now. It's like all the things that we thought were nice at the beginning of lockdown that we're now thoroughly bored with is essentially what it is. So I hope you like it. It's an off-album song, as a lot of the piano stuff was, actually. But hoo, thank you for joining me. Thanks a lot.
That was Death Ingloria, and I've now got a poster covering up my face. There we go, exciting stuff. But yes, there you go. There's the poster for the event that we're playing. I'll move it so that you can see me. Obviously got Gothzilla as well on the lineup. So let's play a bit of Gothzilla for you. Let's see, get a bit of them on now. Here we go.
to remind me that I'm still alive. Is there something missing that I've left behind? Something that I lost and now I can't find. I can't find a way in, I can't find a way out. Should I hide away or should I stand and shout? I could be miles away, I could be here to stay. I could be thinking, today is a good day to die. Well, the love lies fading and the darkness falls, and as the years pass by, will it even be remembered at all? When the faith is broken, destroyed by lust, in the fullness of time, just shadows and dust. I can't find a way in, I can't find a way out. Should I hide away or should I stand and shout? I could be miles away, I could be here to stay. I could be thinking, today is a good day to die. Today is a good day to die. Today is a good day to die. Full of sorrow, but my head held high, and an arm full of scars to remind me that I'm still alive. Is there something missing that I've left behind? Something that I lost and now I can't find. I can't find a way in, I can't find a way out. Should I hide away or should I stand and shout? I could be miles away, I could be here to stay. I could be thinking, today is a good day to die. Today is a good day to die. Today is a good day to die. Today is a good day to die.
So that was Gothzilla, Today is a Good Day to Die, and you can see on screen obviously the poster type thing I did for it, which hopefully is appealing for people and they'll come along to the gig. That is 18th of February at the Vortex in Wakefield, which should be jolly lovely indeed. And in March I've got some gigs coming up, and I've got FeatherTrade as one of the acts that I'm playing with. says FeatherTrade, just like film. And there's the poster. No, that way. It's hard when you're sort of mirrored on the screen, okay? Yeah, so there you go. That's it there, perfectly well you can see. Yeah, so that's on the 11th of March. You can see them. And you'll also get Saigon Blue Rain, as well as Jan Doyle Band. Well, me. Looks like it'll be just me solo. Tiny URL, tinyurl.com/Saigon York for tickets, £10 plus fees, so that'll be £11 then. Shall I play you a bit of Saigon Blue Rain? Again, wasn't that jolly lovely? I thought that was pretty good. I'm looking forward to playing with them. 11th of March, as I say, but you know that perfectly well. I would have liked to have had this in sort of studio quality, but here's Punkdisco, who are playing with me in London at the Bird's Nest in Deptford on the 24th of February. So this is them live in Chatham.
Disco rock.
All the things. That was Punkdisco with All the Things live in chat. I'm going to play you a bit of Sex Bandit now, also playing on the 24th. So here we go. Bandit do mainly cover songs but with a sort of electro twist to them, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Very spectacular live show. Right, it's nearly time for Palindrones, so let's have Coma Berenices, I'm assuming is how it's said. Yeah, so let's have this. Hello, good evening. Nice to see you. Welcome to Neo-Futurist TV. Let's have a bit of a chat about things in sort of promotion and so forth for the upcoming gig on the 24th. So, first of all, hello and how are you this evening? Everyone all good? Right, so anyway, let's have you introduce yourselves and what palindrones are all about then. Yes, and what's palindrones all about then?
um, there's elements of like house music in it almost. There's elements of like industrial music, and that's we kind of always go for that kind of euphoric, hypnotic music sound.
Yeah, I can definitely get that sense from the music, that sort of slightly trancey vibe to things on occasion. Certainly with those really rapid arpeggios you've often got going on. So, when did you actually get together as palindrones, and how come you've ended up in an electronic band together when both of you come from other acts and so forth, you can say? I know Jamie from both Down From Above and Starsha Lee. We have indeed played together in both forms, I think, in the past.
Yeah.
And I think also in Leeds you were on a quest for chips as well, if I remember rightly.
yeah.
Yes. And
trying to find some scraps, and then I couldn't find. I found a place, and then I forgot to get them.
You go all the way to Leeds to get batter scraps, and then you fail to get them. That's the sort of thing I do. So how come you've ended up sort of in an electronic band together when, you've come from that background of being sort of in sort of rock bands, if you like, though I'm not entirely sure Flesh Testers can be called that.
Yeah, it's more the punk scene really that we met each other.
Yeah. It was when I was in Starsha, we played a gig, and Flesh Testers, of the band, played on the bill, and that's how we met. And then we became
we kept bumping into each other on different bills that we were sharing,
and like Palindrones as kind of a project is something that I've been doing since about 2015, but it was like a very early lineup in like 2015. We did maybe 5 gigs, and then it kind of went by the wayside, and it turned into something that I was just noodling away at.
This was his bedroom project.
Yeah, it was my bedroom project basically. Just kind of me and a laptop, kind of not really understanding music production, but just kind of knocking songs together. And then lockdown happened, and all the gigs with the other bands that I was doing stopped, and so for obvious reasons, and so I kind of really got into the mechanics of trying to actually produce music better, and even just really simple things that not even occurred to me at the time, like how you EQ a kick drum, for example. That just never even occurred to me, and so I kind of really got into that side of things, and because Palindrones then became my main the main thing that I was really thinking about, it became I started composing more music with it, and then it became a thing where me and Karen were kind of like composing together remotely.
I really liked his electronic stuff, and I came from loving like trip hop and that type of electronic music, and I think basically one of his tracks I agreed to try and do some vocals for him on, and I remember being really self-conscious and shy when I first gave it to him, but when he took it into the track and what he turned it into, I loved it so much that it just, I think we realized that we worked really well together. So we just carried on.
That was our track Sexy Oreo. That was the first one that we wrote together. And I think in terms of it being like the transition from like punk or like rock bands to electronic music, that's like for me what I kind of wanted to do like for years and years and just didn't know how to do it.
I seem to recall that a gig we were at some time ago, you sort of expressed an interest in, you said like you were really into the electronic side, despite it wasn't obvious with you sort of being sort of on like bass guitar duties basically all the time then, but I know you said it, I don't know, back about 4 or 5 years ago, you were, but you finally found that opportunity to get into it properly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like even the way that I approached playing bass guitar, the sound that I used for my bass, it was trying to get it to sound like a synth.
Yeah.
And then I discovered, like, you know, certain synth sounds, like the Reese bass sound, and I'm like, that is the sound that I was trying to get my bass to sound like. So why do I even need the bass to do it when it's like this is what I was trying to do.
And so, Karen, how's it been sort of transitioning to being kind of more that main focus at the front kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot more pressure, definitely, because I think obviously being in Flesh Tetris, like, I'm a little bit off to the side. I can kind of relax. There's not too much focus or pressure on me. So you know, leading the vocals, I do enjoy it, but yeah, I'm not like a really flamboyant, loud person naturally, but you know, I don't think that's what we need in Palindrones anyway. So I'm enjoying the chance to kind of push my vocals a lot more.
Yeah.
So that side of it I absolutely love. Yeah.
And how's it been transitioning to, has there been any adjustment to singing alongside electronic music rather than guitars and drums and so forth?
I don't think so. I mean, the thing is with Flesh Tetris, we are synth as well, because I play keyboards.
Yeah.
So we've got that element of it already. And I've been, you know, I have been in a few bands that I've always been in bands that have synthesizers, to be honest.
Yeah. So what's some of your other history then, as well as Flesh Tetris?
Oh gosh, it's been really up and down. I've been sort of in more sort of French cabaret style, I don't know, more cabaret punk bands like years ago, and then actually I was in a jazz and swing duo. I've got a twin sister and we have an act called Twin and Tonic. We were a jazz and swing band with a backing band, and we used to do vintage nights and cabaret shows and stuff like that, and so that was really fun, but it was covering all the old vintage numbers, Andrew's Sisters, so there's lots of kind of harmonies and stuff like that. So and then I briefly was in more of a post-punk duo, and then I joined Flesh Tetris. So it's kind of been, I like so much music. I love music. I love all different styles of music. So
a very eclectic approach to sort of influences. Do any of those like vintage sort of music and that sort of thing inform at all your vocal styles, or do you just go with like what is more traditionally accepted with electropop, or do you have any of that sort of Andrew's Sisters approaching in it at all?
We do like to get harmonies in, definitely. But yeah, there's not really a set approach with how I write the vocals for Palindrones. It's just I listen to what Jamie started and see what naturally evolves, really. So probably not. I mean, I do like to try and explore my ranges, and you know, some songs I like to sing quite deep and sultry, and other ones I like to try and hit some of the higher notes. And you know, I've got influences like, when it comes to vocals, I'd say it's more along the lines of Liz Fraser from the Cocteau Twins, Kate Bush, Bjork. So I guess they're all kind of more in the synthy electronic in a way.
And is it the case that you, Jamie, write all the music and then you hand it over to Karen and it all comes through, or do you write things together?
The root of the idea starts with me, and then we kind of bounce it back, bounce it back and forth. Like, you know, certainly there are some songs where I've written all the music and Karen's written the vocals, but then there's other songs where it's like,
I mean,
there's no rules to it.
It and he'll be like, I'm a bit stuck, have you got any ideas? Or he'll do something and I'll listen and I'll be like, I think you need to maybe add another part here, or some strings here, or a little melody here.
We always arrange the songs together. Like, that is definitely, there's no kind of like I have final say on anything. It's always like, it's like everything is collaborative, even if it's we decide, well, that doesn't need anything else.
Yeah.
Like, you know. But I try and like as much as possible. I do try and leave space for Karen to put as much in, like because the nugget of the idea is always mine. I try and leave space for Karen to put her own stamp on it as much as possible. But I'm quite, once I get started, I'm like, you know, it's just like the ideas are rolling.
Yeah.
There's sometimes like they're in space, but you know, that's not always, you know, it's not necessarily. It's just, you know, we work it however we work it for each song. There's no kind of rules.
No.
Has there ever been a song in particular where you've been really surprised perhaps at what Karen has come up with for it vocally or anything? And anything that you've found particularly sort of unexpected from Jamie's composition, Karen? So we'll have Jamie's answer first, and then you can have a little time to think about it, unlike Jamie. You know, we'll plunge Jamie in at the deep end straight away, and Karen can have a bit of time to think about things.
I mean, I thought of one straight away, which was, it was not a vocal line, it's the piano line on it's a song called Chang Shi, which is on our previous album, The Principle of Consciousness, and she just wrote this really beautiful and almost like bluesy piano line that it just literally would have never have occurred to me to write that. You know, and it really, it totally adds like just an extra. It's like jazzy and bluesy and it's beautiful, and and the song itself like it was inspired by just like nighttime in South London. I'd like just moved to South London, and so that's what it was inspired by, and it kind of it added this extra kind of like smoky jazz club vibe to the song, instead of just, you know, like a lot of my music, it's meant to sound like, you know, lonely streets, walking down lonely streets while it's raining, you know, hence the rain samples that I put on a lot of things and stuff like that. And then she added this extra kind of like the sultry thing of this like bluesy piano. It was just, like really blew me away when she came up with it. It was great.
And so, Karen, can you think of any bits of music that Jamie's come up with that's been maybe particularly surprising and unexpected for you at all?
I think, I don't know about surprising or unexpected, but what I always...
Or maybe particularly inspiring, you know,
well,
anything.
I would say it's his beats, the way he writes his beats, for me, is always really interesting, because I would say as a musician, that's probably the area I know the least, and I wouldn't know where to start with writing beats. And I just love how varied his beats are, and all the different styles that he pulls into our music with it, like a bit of drum and bass or jungle and house. And although sometimes I struggle with the syncopation, timing things with his syncopation can be a pain, but it's fun, it's a challenge. I like a challenge.
You may be both interested to know that your music is cat approved, as Margaret Hedwig Gilbert in the chat says that your song before, what did I play again? Bernice thingy what's it?
Coma Berenices.
Berenices, Bernice. Bernice
well, that's
Clogs.
where that name comes from.
Bernice Clogsworth, tribute to the lady at the chip shop who didn't give you a bat of scraps. So that track was indeed approved by her cat, who was happily purring during that.
That's wonderful.
So you can now have the satisfaction of knowing that you make music that pleases felines. So I'm sure there's no greater compliment.
Yeah.
So
you know you've earned it.
Yeah. I mean, there's having commercial success, and then there's pleasing cats, which I think is definitely. I don't think it's if you're going to hang around with people who have lots of cats. I mean, that's been rather a theme in bands that you've been in so far, Jamie. You know, you've had Anastasia Resurrection and her many cats, and we've had Starsha Lee having many cats as well, I think.
Well, it's the same for me. Andy Hart's has got many cats.
That's true, yeah.
I'm fond of working with people called Karen and people with lots of cats. So, so it will not keep you much longer now. So tell people why they should go see you live then. Right, okay, so there's no good reason to go see them live. Don't bother. I'll kick them off the bill right away.
You should come and see us live if you want to experience the hypnotic euphoria of being in a trance club, but at the Bird's Nest on the 24th of February.
Indeed.
That's why.
Yeah, you'll want to dance. You're going to feel big emotions. You're going to get lost in our music. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure we will. It's got a lot of atmosphere, and Margaret Hedwig Gilbert, she did indeed say she finds your music very appealing as well, so not just cat approved. So
that's very kind of her.
yes, I look forward to. I've known of you for a while, obviously. I mean, it was. Being as you're associated with lots of people that I know, it was obviously you were always on my radar. But it's just been finding that opportunity to finally get you along for something and just. Finally got the right opportunity, and we've kind of got an interesting night where we've mainly got women at the front. There's only me at the front isn't a woman, and even that might be debatable sometimes. So I'm really looking forward to it myself. Bird's Nest always has a great vibe. Have you played there at all before?
We played there last summer. Yeah.
So I played with Flesh Tetris. And then we played as well, and then another band called AUW, that's just a great synthwave band.
I'll have to look those up. Anyone you'd like me to play on the show for you? Any bands or anything that you've seen around in the scene that you think may be worthy of people's attention?
You know what? You should play some AUW. I think that your audience might like that.
So what's that, AUW? Or?
Yeah, it's literally it's the letters AUW.
Right, I'll look that up in the meantime, and we'll have a bit more of palindrones. Oh, and do you sound the same backwards as forwards? Haha, see what I did there. Yes, you can play your music backwards and it sounds exactly the same.
Yeah, that's how it's all structured.
Yeah, carefully constructed to sound the same in reverse. Anyway, thanks a lot, Jamie and Karen, and I'll see you on the 24th.
Can I tell you something, Jamie? Which is a promise. Just a straight up promise from me to you. It's all gonna work out just fine.
Right, so that was the lovely Palindrones. Let's get myself properly back on screen. I don't know why I'm off to one side. There we go. Let's. I know why I shifted myself over so I could fit Palindrones on the screen properly. Anyway, yes, there you go. That was Palindrones, and let's get that poster thing up again. Don't we all look so incredibly fabulous? Yes, there we are. There you can see us all. That flyer will be doing the rounds in London, I'm sure, in the near future. And what more do you need than a bunch of people who look amazing, you know, obviously. But with the main focus of me being on there as well, you know. Look, up there, is it? I don't know. I can never work out which way to point. Anyway, look, there's a teller. Wonderful. Yes. Yeah, that's 24th of February, and the day after I'm going and playing with Republica, so that's quite spiffy. I don't know if to really keep this going much longer, but it's interesting to note that Margaret Hedwig Gilbert recognises that footage with ant people. Very much liking the choice of imagery there. Right, so we'll have a bit of AUW for you now. Ow? Maybe that's what they're called. But anyway, whatever they are called, here's their music video. Europa Dusk. W or OW, whatever it's called. Right, let's have a bit of Jamie Jamal now with Matt Winter, and the track is You Say.
You said that you love me. You said that you always will. You said that you need me. You said a lot of things. You're not there when I need you most. You gave me all I could ever dream of. Now it's not fair that you left me alone all night to care for.
So that was Jamie Jamal and Matt Winter, You Said. I'm going to play a bit of classic Tokyo Witch Hunt for you now. I overdubbed this earlier. It is Here Is the Light from the album that was originally when she was performing as Eyes Lips. It's the album Eclectic Electric, which later was retconned into being a Tokyo Witch Hunt album because she changed the band name now because Eyes Lips was too difficult to find or something. But anyway, this is a wonderful track.
Here is the light. Here is the light. I can barely see your face, it's so bright. So I've been waiting long enough. I've been waiting all this time for you. No one ever came this close. No one even saw a ghost of you. So I gotta get a bit closer, 'cause I'm getting down. And no, I can't wait any see your face, it's so bright. Here is the light. Here is the light. I can barely see your face, it's so bright. Here is the light. Here is the light. I can barely see your face, it's so bright. Here is the light. Here is the light. I can barely see your face, it's so bright. So I've been looking in long enough. I've been thinking all this time of you. No, no one ever took your place. Always left an empty space for you. So I gotta get a bit closer, 'cause I'm getting down. And no, I can't wait any longer, 'cause it's getting late now.
God, Izzie's music is so sublime. Such a pity she's not doing it anymore. It's the best music I've ever played live alongside. Right, I'm going to finish now with the alpha video with the track Zito. It's a bit of a golden oldie by now from the incredible Cause for Concern EP, but it's only recently been uploaded to YouTube. This is Zito, so named after the killer in Maniac, I believe. I love this song so much. It's definitely my favourite alpha video track, unless it's Clean Sheet.